Hi everyone, we're here with Simon Fonteyn from LeaseInfo. Welcome Simon, always good to catch up. So you're giving a presentation at our conference. Tell us a little bit about what you'll be talking about and why it's relevant at the moment.
Thanks Justine, and thank you for the opportunity. My background is in valuation, accounting and finance. I've been in the property industry for 30 years and I built LeaseInfo, which is the largest online provider of retail leasing data in Australia. So my background is very much focused on retail and rents, and that's why I'm going to be presenting to you, because obviously it's very topical at the moment.
Sure is. And so what are some of the things that you're hearing from some of the industry out there?
Well, as you know, Justine, Vicinity and GPT have already made announcements that they're cutting their valuations by 10 to 15% for their shopping centre portfolio, right, implying deep discounts to rents. It's also on the back of major changes to foot traffic patterns in shopping centres, and also remixing of centre anchors, such as the decline of DDSs like Target, a number of fashion chains going into administration, and a number of retailers with severely weakened balance sheets, which are looking at possibly not recovering at all post September. So we have a new paradigm of a retail landscape that's very different to pre-March.
Yep.
And this is all impacting on the retail landscape, as we know it. Certain QSRs are actually benefiting from these changes. Yep. So like, for example, the ones that have pad sites, drive-throughs, the ones that have already got great online systems, they're able to capitalise on these opportunities. But a lot of the other sort of food court based QSRs and also CBD based QSRs are really suffering because of the lack of foot traffic, and also the restrictions being placed as a result of social distancing and closing off the food courts.
Yep. So for restaurant operators out there now, what are they going to get from your session?
Well, it's always a great session, and we're going to be talking about the legislative changes in the short term, which has been mandated by the federal government and implemented by each state, which unfortunately is extremely confusing. So by way of example, Queensland has basically gone out on its own and legislated something special for QSRs, whereas the rest of the country hasn't. So we're going to be running right through that. We're going to be running through some worked examples of what we're seeing in terms of rent deferments, rent waivers. We're going to be discussing about what rental strategies QSRs might adopt post-COVID.
Got it? Yep.
And we're going to be talking to a great panel of leading industry experts of both retailers and landlords. So I'm really excited.
So what are some of the industry issues you're thinking about at the moment? And what are some developments you're seeing that the industry should take a closer look at?
Sure. Well, I guess one of the industry developments, we've got to divide our time between now and September, where we have to get through all these COVID deals. So, a lot of the industry is still grappling with rent relief around COVID. So up till September and probably a period afterwards, there will be a negotiation period to get through that initial rent relief, rent waiver. But then there's a whole issue around what does the new structure look like for leases? Do QSRs basically adopt a strategy of taking long-term leases, particularly for food court-based, centres, where there's so much uncertainty surrounding, taking a longer lease. What do they do? What happens to incentives? What happens to rent increases? What happens to centres where they have a DDS that's no longer relevant, or they have a centre where there's 20-30% vacancies? how does that impact on their decision making? So we're going to be looking at that as well.